I just got this pretty sweet panel in from Sencut Send. I designed it so it, fits the contour here and completely covers this area where you would normally see the tire. I also had them cut in some slots. You'll see what those are for in just a second. But they also did weld nuts, so I can bolt something directly to this, and those nuts are part of the sheet metal. I drilled 2 holes down here by the frame rail, pinch weld just to hold the bottom in. But I'm going to pull that harness through, and eventually I'll make a grommet for these, but let's see. Oh crap, I don't know which one's with. Yeah, I do. Alright, so that one goes there. How would I? So that one goes right there. That one goes right there. And that one goes there. Maybe we'd stick them through a little bit. And then, look at this. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. So I picked the weld nuts that fit the mounting hardware that came with the Haltech ECU. Alright, let's tighten this down. You got hardware that's cool enough, like, looks sweet like this. Might as well show it off. Alright, and then should be able to plug in each of the connectors. And then, yeah, perfect. The wiring fits through well enough that, yeah, man, that's freaking cool. Is that not slick or what? Dude, that is baller. You can barely see the wires. They're gonna have a little grommet around the cutouts. There's a USB-C here that I need to run that wire for, but you can see there's a little recess here. There's one on this side too that matches, and that'll be for the positive stud and the ground stud here, and those will just wrap right to the back of the panel, and that's right where the fuse box is, so that'll be super easy to connect those. And then all of my wires for that run down along the frame rail. Man, that turned out so good. Hell yeah. I accidentally recorded this as a motion lapse instead of trying to explain what I was talking about, but this is a fuel pump hat that was used with some trashed triple pumps from my buddy Lance at R&D Performance. So he gave it to me for free. I took it apart. I needed to put a different connector in it because the potted wiring that goes through it leaks, which I found out the hard way. Even though I replaced the connector, it still leaked. I had to do this like yesterday. I filmed this like a month ago. But so I designed up the pocket for the connector, threw it on the mill, and here you can see me machining it. The rest of the video is me putting together the fuel system and then getting the fuel tank back in the car. Big shout out to Racetronix. They gave me a big discount on all of my AN lines and fittings, the dual 525 Hellcat pumps, all the associated hardware and whatnot. So any of the lines and stuff you see me messing with, the connector for this, all of that's from them. So big shout out to them. Huge selection of stuff. If you need anything, go check them out. Alright, so it looks like it machined pretty well. Nice bore. There's a little bit of a... I used the 1/8 inch ball. Came in right here where the O-ring's gonna sit. You. What? That whole thing was supposed to sit up above. Man. Oh, does it completely fit in there? Well, maybe I did do that, right? Oh yeah, okay. So no, that was right. We're good. Okay. So now, I mean, and you can tell this is customer work. This is the first operation. I just kind of reused the setup for this, but now I can create a little mount that just has like a screw hole here and here, and just goes boop, clamps down to hold that in place. I would call that a win. Also, I machined that really slowly because I'm holding on like 4 little corners here, and this seems kind of shady. And I only have one of these very cheap for me used pump hats, so did not want to ruin it. Yeah, buddy, so you can see it comes out there. This is the hole I'm gonna plug, so that's not a big deal. The other 2 pumps will come out here. This is where the return is. But yeah, look at that. That is minty fitment. So I'll get this cleaned off. I'll draw something up to mount here and here kind of deal. And probably do that bit on the router, just because it'll be out of like some 1/8 inch aluminum sheet. And I hate doing that on the mill. So either that or I just do the 2 little tapped holes with washers and hold it down. I mean, I guess that's... It seems like it's shady, but it definitely works. I think I get better clamp load if I do something all the way around, but I could even probably just print something, make it nice and thick. Maybe we'll start there and see how I feel about it after that. But yeah, look at that, nice and shiny. Went from cool anodized part to cut up on the mill part. Honestly, it's kind of cooler now. I got this little 3D print done. Does kind of that guy, and then I'll figure out where to drill the holes. I designed it for M3s, but I decided after I 3D printed this in like 10 minutes that M5s would probably be better because I want to be able to get some actual clamp load on that, and I hate hand tapping M3s. So, take this, shoop, let's go over to the router. You can see how gross and foggy it is in here because I just finished machining another one out of aluminum. So I'm going to pull this off, get it, oh, here, might be able to, oh yeah, there we go. Get it cleaned off, deburred. I mean, that came out pretty sweet, right? That's awesome. And then we'll drill some holes and tap them, and then the connector for the fuel pump hat will be done. Sweet. Alright, I don't know where my deburr tool went, but at least chamfer these holes. Nice. And now I need to find the deburr tool? Oh, never mind, I know where it is. Last time I used it was on the lathe. So just clean this up real quick. I really hate using the router to do flat stuff just because I have to... I've only had luck doing it this way, but I have to use isopropyl alcohol as the coolant. It evaporates, which is convenient, but it also creates like a pretty nasty mist cloud in here. And it takes a while for it to dissipate even with the extraction fan on, so just kind of gross. It's also slow, and I have no patience for anything, so... Cool, blow that off. Yeah, that looks a little bit better, yeah? So out of a scrap piece of aluminum, you can tell people it's billet because they don't know any better. But I'm gonna grab my transfer punches, figure out where I want these holes, punch them, and then we'll swap out the drill press on the bench over here and get them drilled. All right. These are, whoop, that one, this one. Okay, transfer punch, just so you're not wiggling around in the hole too much. I oversized these a little bit. I think these are 5.5 mil for a 5 mil bolt. What I'm gonna do, because I think this connector is actually gonna sit like this, there's not a lot of room under the head of the connector for where the bolt head needs to be. I'm gonna do it like this. Transfer punch. Booyah. And without moving it too much. Woo. Let's see if I actually got that right. Oh yeah, big dent, cool. Cool, okay. The nice part is there's quite a bit of meat here to actually thread into. On the back side there's plenty of room for it as well, but I'm not gonna go all the way through. I don't wanna create another leak path. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill these bolts, or drill these bolt holes with the tap drill, and then we'll hand tap them. So I'm going to grab my pliers, and then we'll take this one off just because it's lighter than the disc sander. Unplug it from the toolbox. Oof, almost caught my face on that. Right. Hitch pin. Don't really need the quick release pin, but tighten up the bolt just so it doesn't rattle or rock back and forth really. This is probably one of my better scrap material projects. Yeah. I would just like use a drill, probably, but because I don't want to go all the way through, but I want to have as much thread engagement as possible, I'm going to use the depth stop on here, beep boop, so that it's a little more accurate. Cool, let me find that drill bit. I can only find this weird rusty ancient drill bit, but I'm sure it'll be just fine for this aluminum. Yeah, what speed are we at here? Oh, helps if the toolbox is plugged in. Oh, that would be as fast as she goes. Okay. So, ooh. Come on, you. Super cheap thing. Alright. The other problem is trying to find enough flat area on there to hold it. Just because of all the different features and stuff that are on the bottom of it. I think this might help. Yep, big chunk there. And the same over here. Yeah. Okay. Let's find our indents. Boop boop. And then I'm gonna set my depth over here. So if that is 0, So if that's 0, this would be easier with a scale, not calipers. We will go 0.55. The hole is, or the thickness of the material is almost, it's 17 mil, so it's almost 3/4 of an inch. So this will leave plenty of material thickness and have plenty of thread depth. Don't freak out, I'm not gonna clamp this down, I'm just gonna hold it, chill out, it's fine. I don't know if I'm trusting my thread gauge, my depth gauge anymore. 0.5. Yeah, alright, okay. It didn't go through, right? Nope. Okay, cool. Okay, the other one is way over here. Cool. Holes. And because I'm insanely good at what I do, they line up. Pretty cool. Ignore the mess. I know I got like a ton of crap up here. I'm just working on so many different things at the same time. Alright. Chamfer the hole a little bit. But not too much, so I don't want to take away from the available thread depth. Alrighty. Squirt some tap fluid. Nah, put the tap fluid on the tap. I said I didn't like tapping the M3s, and that was mostly because my tap I have is just crappy and I don't do a lot of that, so I haven't bought a new one. That was a lot of lube. This M5 tap has also seen better days, but it will work. It's just not. Once you have a CNC mill and you use like a lot of nice taps, you're like, dude, all these other taps that come like a set are just like garbage. I'm gonna go blow that hole out and see if I got all the way down there. Yep. I'm gonna chase the threads one more time. I mean, that's a good sign. And there it is. Now that's the bottom. So like another half a thread. And I don't have a bottoming thread for, or a bottoming tap for M5, so that's all we're gonna get. Cool. Let's do it again. Nope, I got it on that one. Alright, so connector, you can see tapped holes, goodies. Okay, boom. Connector goes in. I think we'll just arbitrarily set the angle there. Let me rummage through my remainder 3D printer bolts, because that's the only short M5s I'll have. And we'll put them in there. Couple bolts. Let's see here. Oh, that might be the money. That's not a ton of thread engagement though. The problem is I think the next size I have up is like way too long. So let's find out. Oh yeah, it is. Honestly, I think the short guys might be the money. Holy shit. You guys just see the garage door do that? I think we're about to have another stupid Midwestern. It's 1,000 degrees and now it's gonna drop 20 in 5 minutes because we're gonna thunderstorm for 3 seconds. Maybe it'll be a tornado. Maybe I won't have to finish this build. Who knows? Just kidding. I want to finish it. I just don't want to do the work. That's also not true. I really enjoy building stuff, but good lord, am I tired, man. Okay, so now you can kind of see how this is going to work if you didn't know before. Basically, I left this sitting a little proud of this when I machined it. This here, just tighten these down. That's going to push on that O-ring, and that's going to seal it into the hole. And I'll throw some red Loctite in here at some point. But like, even though I'm going to like bend this down to where it's not parallel to the top anymore, it's just going to keep a ton of pressure on the top of that connector flange. Seal that O-ring and bingo bango. Fuel pump hat now has, it looks so stupid with all this like extra wiring that I can't use. But now I can populate this connector. I can put my pumps in, block off the one pump, reassemble the return. Dude, this is dope. Let's keep the momentum going. This is all the other stuff that goes with it. So this is the return. This has like a interesting Venturi thing because the fuel tank is a saddle tank. So the trans tunnel's right in the middle of the tank. Then it's like way down lower on either side. Oops. Yeah, so it's got to pull fuel from the lower side of the saddle tank to the other side over the trans tunnel. So it uses a Venturi, right? There's just fuel passing through one side and it kind of sucks it out from the other side. Anyways, whatever. These are the old roached pumps. These are my new pumps. I thought they would come with in-tank filters and they do not. So I still got to order those. And I think I also need to replace some of the O-rings that were in here. They're also pretty toast. This is just a -8 ORB O-ring. But the way these work, or this fuel hat works, and I'm not a huge fan. Like I don't know of a better way yet. I haven't really thought about it. Someone has. But you get this nut. It goes onto the end of your in-tank pump. And then you use this little C-clip dude, and that keeps the fitting from coming off again. And then there's another O-ring that then seals the sides. That you can tell this one's pretty toast, but seals the side of this barb to use this brass nut to screw on the inside of this ORB fitting. And then that whole assembly gets screwed into here. I don't know of a better way to do that. It just seems like this is like a lot of steps to attach a fuel pump to this thing. It just seems weird to me. But anyways, not a big deal. We're doing it. This is gonna work great. I don't have a triple pump anymore, right? Those 3 are toast, and I only need 2 for what I'm doing. But there's this little divider that just keeps the pumps, you know, separated. Slides on over here. Like that, or it did on the other ones. I actually don't even know if it fits this. I hope it does. Yeah, it looks like it does. They're tight, but yeah. O-ring be gone. It's okay, it's a crappy O-ring. Yeah, so clip off that thing out. Plug the one hole I'm not using. It's gonna be the side close to the connector, so that just makes my life easier there. The other side of the connector should be in here somewhere. Oh, also on the side of this is where the level sensor mounts. So still have fuel level, which is, you know, necessary. And then we can put, oh, here's that other connector. Yep, so then this connector will go here. And then I'll wire just a little, I don't even know if I should keep this connector. I feel like I should just de-pin it or clip it and then just run it directly into here. Like, when am I gonna need to disassemble this instead of just taking this off? That's probably what I'll do, because then I don't have to buy more fuel-safe wire. But yeah, so that's where I'm at fuel pump-wise, which I guess is actually pretty far. Considering like 2 days ago I didn't have any of this. Yeah, and then banjo fittings go up here, return, feed. Yeah, makes sense? Cool. Now that I've run the feed and return lines in the car, I know how long to make them. I'm going to assemble my new pumps into the fuel hat. I was waiting on some O-rings that showed up. I'm going to swap out some other O-rings with some other fittings until those ones get here, which is fine. But I'm going to make another one of these assemblies after I finish this one and show you how I did it. So I think I kind of explained it before, but this is a fitting that threads into another fitting, and there's an O-ring and a clip in between to hold everything together. You know what? I don't like that. I'm going to spray that down with some WD-40 because I don't want to tear up that O-ring. I'm sure that's really good for the fuel pump too, so. Don't have a ton of energy today. Figure I would get this done sitting here at the table instead of trying to be outside in the heat working on the car with my lovely new Sunburn. So, okay, so there's that assembly, and then this threads in the bottom. So remember, originally this was a triple pump. I blocked off one pump, so now it's only dual pump, which is fine. And these will thread into here. I guess I can kind of thread this one in already. There we go. And actually, I should probably tighten this down because these are super thin. You can't really get a wrench in here, so I might as well tighten the one before I get the other one in there. That way only one of them is really difficult to tighten. But all right, let's open up this other pump. I think I spent like 3 hours working on how I wanted to orient these pumps, and I ended up trimming the little separator between the pumps and wiring up the connector and the level sensor and all that jazz. So I'm just going to fast forward through it, and then I put it back in the fuel tank. That's not difficult. Here it is, going back in the car. I got some lines cut. I'll show that in another video, but you can see the storm about to happen in the background, so I rushed to get this tank in and take my tent down before it blew away. But fuel system is in, it works, it's done. Stay tuned next week for me getting the car in the garage so I don't have to deal with weather like this. And as always, I'm Zach, this is IPF Racing, and thanks for watching.